This is an original story based on Rudyard Kipling's Jungle Book. Today we begin Chapter 4, The Law of the Jungle. As the sun dipped toward the hills, casting long shadows across the ruins of Monkey City, the air grew still. For the first time since Bagheera and Baloo had arrived, there was silence. No chattering of monkeys, no crashing of trees, only the distant buzz of insects. In the crumbling temple, Mowgli sat on a moss-covered stone, his chin resting on his knees. His eyes were fixed on the ground, watching the last ants carry off a dead leaf. He hadn't spoken since they fled the collapsing Monkey City, nor had he needed to. The shock of their narrow escape was still fresh in his mind, making words seem pointless. He might be right, he whispered, more to himself than anyone else. Maybe I do belong in the village. Bagheera, who was perched on a nearby tree branch, lowered himself to the ground beside Mowgli. His green eyes, usually so full of life, seemed clouded with thought. The monkeys may be gone, Baloo, he rumbled, his voice low. But what does it mean? What has Louie done? Mowgli lifted his head, startled. What do you mean? For generations, the Bandar-log have guarded these ruins jealously, Bagheera explained, his gaze distant. They have fought any outsider who dared enter. Yet today, they allowed us passage without a fight. It is unheard of. Why would Louie lay down his arms unless he has another plan? Before Baloo could reply, a loud crash echoed from the edge of the jungle. A large rock tumbled down the hillside, kicking up dust. Then another rock and another until a small avalanche poured onto the path. We were being watched, Bagheera stated, his ears flattened against his head. Someone wanted us to see that. A shiver ran down Mowgli's spine. Was it Shere Khan? Had the tiger discovered their presence and was he taunting them? Fear tightened its grip on Mowgli's heart. Even though he couldn't remember life in the man village, something inside him yearned for the safety of the unknown. We should go back, he said, scrambling to his feet. Let's hide in the caves. Bagheera laid a calming paw on the boy's shoulder. His eyes narrowed as he stared at the landslide. No, there is nothing for us there. Whoever did this wants us to follow him. It is a trap, Baloo snorted. A trap? Who would dare trap a bear, a panther, and a man cub? We are separated from our friends, Bagheera countered, his voice low. And Akela and Masani wolves know nothing of this danger. We are on our own. After a long pause, Baloo slumped his shoulders. Well, I suppose it can't hurt to take a little peek. Just a little peek. Following the line of tumbling rocks, they came to a narrow pass between the hills. The path ahead was blocked by a wall of rock, but to one side, a dark opening gaped like a hungry mouth. In we go then, Bagheera said grimly. As they disappeared into the darkness, the jungle seemed to hold its breath. Outside, the wind stilled and the leaves whispered secrets. The only sounds within the cave were the drip of water and the beating of their hearts. At the far end of the tunnel, light spilled through cracks in the rock, revealing a vast cavern. In the center stood a huge boulder, its surface covered in strange markings. Around it were scattered bones picked clean by scavengers, some too large for any jungle creature. A place of evil, Mowgli whispered, taking a step back. As Bagheera circled the room, his eyes gleaming in the dim light, he noticed a faint trail leading out of the cave. One large enough for a man to pass, but not for a tiger. It seems our friend has left us a parting gift, Bagheera said quietly. The bones here are old, very old. This is where the painted ones held their rituals. And this trail, it is recent. Our friend wishes us to follow. The thought of venturing into the open jungle again filled Mowgli with dread. But when he turned to the others, he saw determination in their eyes. There was no fear, only grim resolve. Suddenly, Baloo let out a low growl, his fur bristling. They're coming, he whispered, his eyes wide. From the shadows, two pairs of glowing eyes emerged, followed by the hulking forms of two wolves. Their teeth glistened in the twilight, their tongues lolling out in hungry anticipation. Siani wolves, Mowgli breathed, recognition dawning on him. Akela and his brother, V, his son. Akela, his fur streaked with gray, stepped forward. His gaze was sharp and questioning, his ears flattened against his head. "What brings you to the painted cave?" he asked, his voice a low rumble. "You are far from your territory. We were hoping," Baloo began, but Akela cut him off. "There is no quarter given or asked here," the elder wolf stated. "These woods are dangerous." "What business do you have with the painted ones?" "We meant no disrespect," Bagheera replied smoothly, keeping his voice even. "We sought shelter from the rain and knew not that this was a place of power. We mean no harm," but V stepped closer, his fangs glinting. "Harm? You bring death with you? Your scent is on the wind. We smelled you before we saw you." "V, be quiet," Akela snapped, turning back to Bagheera. "Why do you come here?" "Speak truly, Panther, or the hospitality of the Siani wolves will end. I seek knowledge," Bagheera said quietly. "I wish to understand the painted ones, to know their ways and their magic. If you have seen them, if you have fought them, I wish to hear your tales." Akela hesitated, then nodded curtly. "Very well, I will speak. But this is a night for stories, not company. When the moon climbs high, you must leave." As the wolves settled down, Akela began his tale. His voice echoed in the cavern, weaving a chilling narrative of ancient evil and forgotten gods. The painted people, he said, were more than human. They were touched by magic, blessed and cursed by powers beyond the jungle's understanding. They lived in harmony with the spirits of the forest, drawing their strength from the earth itself. But their ways were harsh and unforgiving, Akela continued. The painted ones demanded obedience from the jungle creatures, and those who disobeyed were punished swiftly and cruelly. They commanded the snakes to coil around their enemies' necks and squeeze the life out of them. They forced the tigers to hunt prey for their amusement and turned the bears into mindless servants. Their greatest fear, Akela whispered, was the coming of the White Lotus. They believed that when the White Lotus bloomed, the spirits of the forest would rise up and destroy them. So they made pacts with the demons instead, trading their souls for power over the elements themselves. When the White Lotus did appear, they used the gifts of the demons to enslave the jungle. But now their time may be ending. The White Lotus grows pale in the moonlight, and the spirits stir. As the moon climbed higher, the story reached its climax. The painted ones, driven mad by fear, unleashed the full force of their magic upon the helpless jungle. They shattered the mountains and poisoned the rivers. They raised storms that blotted out the sun and cast the world into darkness. But from the darkest hour, hope came. A single seed, carried aloft on the wind, found purchase on the poisoned earth. From that seed, a white lotus bloomed, its petals glowing like moons in the night. And with its birth, the spirits of the forest were reborn. Led by the wolf goddess, they drove the painted ones back into the caves. There, in the heart of the earth, they were sealed away, forever imprisoned, forever banished from the world. When Akela finished his tale, a heavy silence descended on the cavern. The wolves had vanished, leaving Mowgli, Bagheera, and Baloo alone in the flickering lamplight. "The White Lotus," Mowgli whispered, awestruck. "Is it real? Is there such a flower?" Bagheera placed a comforting paw on the boy's shoulder. "Some things are best left for us to find, little one," he said wisely. "But I think we have learned much tonight. Whatever magic the painted ones wielded, it was rooted in fear and hate. They used the gifts of the jungle to dominate and control, and in doing so, they destroyed themselves." "Good riddance," Baloo grunted, yawning widely. "Say, if we hurry, maybe we can catch a late dinner. Anyone up for a nice juicy beetle?" Before either of them could answer, a twig snapped outside the cave. They all froze, listening intently. Then another twig snapped, followed by the rustle of leaves. Someone or something was approaching. "Quick, hide us," Mowgli squeaked, scrambling behind a boulder. "Hide us now," The cave entrance darkened, and 2 pairs of luminous eyes peered inside. Shere Khan stood there, his muscles rippling beneath his orange and black stripes. A cruel smile twisted his whiskered face. "So the man cub survived the monkeys?" He purred softly. "Good. Let him wander a little longer. Let him believe he is free. When the time comes, he will learn who rules the jungle." The tiger turned, his tail swishing through the grass. Somewhere in the distance, a lone wolf howled. Shere Khan only smiled, sharp and cold. As the jungle settled into a restless sleep, Mowgli huddled closer to his 2 friends. Fear gnawed at him, but he pushed it down, determined to be brave. Whatever dangers lay ahead, he knew he wasn't alone. He had Bagheera and Baloo, and together they would face the challenges that lay ahead. For Mowgli, the jungle was his home, and he would defend it, even if it meant facing his greatest fears. To be continued. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button and subscribe for more adventures from the jungle.